got to tell you, I have never, in all my years on city council, opened up the Journal-Times to find a commentary written by either a department manager or a staff, as I experienced yesterday from the Director of City Development with her commentary regarding the event center. I've never experienced that before. That's not the job of staff to sell the council or the public on a notion that comes from the city council. It's the job of our department heads to educate the council and give both sides, pros and cons, for any kind of initiative, and let us decide how best to serve the taxpayers that elect us. Another thing, back in April of 2015, then Alderman of the 15th District, Eddie Deal, talked about the firewall that exists between city staff and the common council members.
The materials that were being provided to prospective tenants, Machinery Row, the city did a magic dance to avoid giving these things to me. They still insist they don't exist. These showed up anonymously in my mailbox, 3 pages. Vanderwall and Associates, who I think we pay as a contractor, and there's our City of Racine logo in the upper corner. 3 pages, beautiful, prospective businesses, etc. I asked for these. I was told that no one knows what I'm talking about. No one thinks these exist.
I have repeatedly requested information from the Director of City Development, and my requests have been ignored. I asked publicly at the Committee of the Whole meeting on February 27th for an accounting of what all has been spent in relation to this event center. She said she would get that information to us. That has not happened. I sent emails last week to both the Director of City Development, to the Finance Director, and then last Thursday, carbon copy the City Attorney, asking for the same information I continue to ask for. I don't get it. I've requested, and other aldermen have requested, the PowerPoint given to us by SB Freeman. Those requests have been ignored. That is not an option for city staff. They are here to serve the mayor and the common council. So when a common council member asks for information, that needs to be supplied. And that's not happening. So when we make decisions, when we vote on things, we have to be confident that we are given full information. That is not happening. That did not happen with Machinery Row, and it is not happening with the event center. And, for those of us that, choose to ignore our history and want to keep making the same mistakes over and over again, that's fine, but I don't think that's really how you responsibly serve the taxpayers of the city of Racine. Right now, I'm looking for the commentary from the Director of City Development. I've got here with reams of paper because I do my homework. But I'll yield the floor until I find that, give someone else an opportunity to tell me how wrong I am.
Thank you, Alderman Weidner. Mayor Dickert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Let's clear up a few points. Alderman Weidner, if you would return to the 2017 debt finance. You recall this, Alderman Weidner? This is the debt finance proposal that we put together. And if you recall, what we were left in 2009 when I started, if you will recall, because I think you and Alderman Shields and Alderman Shakur were probably the only 3 aldermen that really served at any extent of period before that, was we had a highest crime rate per capita. We had the highest unemployment. Alderman Weidner, I'm speaking. We had the highest unemployment, the highest crime rate, the highest poverty, the highest infant mortality, and our budget was in trouble, and our debt service to our TIF districts was underwater. Now, this plan, which you forgot to point out the years moving forward, we restructured our debt to a point where, if you look closely, just about disappears by the term of 2030, and in the next couple of years it goes down to one of the historic low levels. Why does it do that? We structured it so that we could take on more capacity because, as Alderman Shakur, who has been one of the visionaries since then, in 2009, with the rest of this council, who have been supporting new developments and growth, we structured this debt plan so that we could have capacity because we knew that we needed to redevelop. Because as we all know, there were a lot of empty spaces in 2009. Textron site, Walker site. And if you recall, if you look at page 14 and 15, these projects have been in the 10-year plan since the day we started. So let's talk about data. You said that we haven't spent any time looking at this, but we've been talking about this for, I think, coming up on 2 years. We've been to this council how many times? We've been in committees, we've been in executive committees. We've spent quite a bit of time talking about this. Council oftentimes spends millions, if not tens of millions of dollars on DPW projects, water department projects, and other projects that we spend very little time looking or researching. The department heads, on the contrary, Alderman, if you go back and do the research, the department heads speak on a regular basis. They do editorials on a regular basis, like the water department, police chief, DPW, because we asked them to. We asked them to inform the public, and they do a magnificent job. And isn't that part of the transparency that is often requested? But I think one thing is important to talk about, and that is that you said that you're not getting a response from our department heads. I think it's fair for the public to know that when you inundate our department heads with anywhere from 3 to 4 questions a day, the pile adds up. And when you've got people coming in with requests of our records daily, the pile adds up. And what you have as a council have to ask is that should we, as a city and as these departments, be responding to every single question that is inundating our department heads every single day? And by the way, most of the questions could be answered because the reports, you've got them. They're online. They're public. I would suggest reading the reports. But should our staff be doing the work to build a better community? Because that's what I think Alderman Shakur and the rest of the aldermen that haven't been here since 2009 have been doing. Or should they be trying to answer every single question that they get every single day by one alderman? Well, I've directed them to answer those questions when they see fit, and if those questions are already answered, then read the information that you have. But their job is to get things done and to move this city forward. The tax base that you talk about, Alderman, you'll forget the tax base has changed. And the amount of property taxes, unfortunately, that our city residents are paying due to the cuts at the state level are actually up over 80% now. So we have to fight that battle every day, and we do. But we can never grow our community, and we can never reduce taxes if we don't build. Alderman Shakur is exactly right. We have to build our way out of this, and we have to build a better economy, because the 700 jobs that are entailed in this opportunity and the growth and development that the downtown people and all the rest of the community have been looking for, they're waiting. So next time you talk about a debt ceiling, Alderman, I think you should use the whole project plan on what's going on with our debt ceiling, because I think we're doing pretty good after where we started.
Thank you. Question, I guess, would be from the finance department. My question would be, do they know how to make a pie? I'm looking at the debt service pie, which is always my favorite visual. And it looks to me like the pie says in 2010, the debt service fund was 19%. The debt service fund in 2017 was 32%. And then I had given you the numbers earlier, the 8 million versus the 17 million. So just a comment on that. I'm not looking for any response from anyone.